All right, got a good question here for you. This person texted in and said, "Do we believe that people with same-sex attraction are born that way?" Great question. Let's wrestle with the science side of things first, and then we'll turn to Scripture and see what Scripture says. I have a resource here. It's called Homosexuality and the Christian, written by Mark A. Yarhouse. And he takes a quote from the American Psychological Association. Says this: "There is no consensus among scientists about the exact reasons that an individual develops a heterosexual, bisexual, gay, or lesbian orientation. Although much research has examined the possible genetic, hormonal, developmental, social, and cultural influences on sexual orientation, no findings emerged that permit scientists to conclude that sexual orientation is determined by any particular factor or factors." This is just a great summary of tons and tons of research that's been done. You can read for hours online of things that have been researched and talked about. Researchers have been looking for the quote-unquote gay gene. There is no such thing, or at least they haven't found anything about that. And through all that research, there is nothing to conclude that says homosexual tendencies are based on nature versus nurture or vice versa. There are no conclusions on that. So science doesn't really help us out very much in that. Scripture does help us in this, in understanding why folks might have a tendency towards same-sex attraction. It comes from Psalm 51, verse 5. David writes this psalm. He says, "Surely I was sinful at birth, sinful from the time my mother conceived me." One of the doctrines that the church believes from Scripture is called original sin. Every single person in the history of the world, since Adam and Eve, now that sin is in the world, have been born with nothing but sinful tendencies. In fact, Scripture says in other places that there is nothing good in you, just sin. But when God works faith into our lives, good starts to win. Good starts to defeat evil. And in the matter of homosexuality, same-sex attraction, we find that every single person is born with a tendency and actually a reliance on and the absolute desire to do nothing but sin. Now, homosexuality is one of those sins. It's not a sin for everybody, but Satan knows exactly where you're weakest. And so maybe for you it's not homosexuality, but it's something else. Maybe it is some other kind of sexual sin. Maybe it's deception, lying. Maybe it's stealing. Maybe whatever it may be. You could go down the list. But every single person is prone to sin, which is why every single person, gay or straight, liar, stealer, deceiver, whatever it may be, whoever you are, can be absolutely transformed by the power and grace of Jesus. So, to summarize, there is no science answer to it. Biblically, homosexuality is just one of many sins that people are prone to be drawn to. For more information about this, we talked about some of these questions pertaining to homosexuality in week 2 of our Skeptical series, and we'll continue to talk about those things. One final word, if this is you or if you have a friend who's battling with this, man, we just want you to know that Rhythm City Church is not a place where you have to be perfect to belong. You can come to Rhythm City Church and be a part of this, no matter who you are, no matter what your same-sex attraction may be, or whatever your sin is, whatever your baggage is. Please don't feel like you're going to be singled out or excluded in any way, shape, or form at Rhythm City. It's not a perfect church for perfect people, but it's the perfect church for imperfect people, just like me, just like you. If you want to keep texting your questions, please text the word skeptical and your question to the number 22333. Texting will end on October 6th. Thanks a lot.